Yeah, so I'm happy to support Zaal too. I think Zaal would be a great delegate. I suppose one other thing I'll mention too before I submit my vote is that this is actually right now we are going to officially reboot the Eden plus fractal consensus process because the Eden plus fractal consensus process has a boot up period, basically a startup period, because there's four councils and you can make a decision if you have three out of four councils who are in agreement about something. And so this is we're electing the third council. So officially, we could make a decision about something now. So Tadas, if you want to at some point make a proposal, I don't. I think that I don't totally remember, but I think that right now, even if we wanted to make a proposal, we wouldn't be able to or to approve a proposal because Timothy's not here. And so even if we had
Mm,
two or three, if we had say me and Zal, if we vote Zal, then we'd still only have two out of four. So we wouldn't have three out of four. So I think that's the way it works, right?
yes.
Okay. So that means that technically at this event, we could approve a proposal if Timothy was here. But because Timothy is here with the current rules of Eden Perspective, we can't approve a proposal. But I know that's something we discussed several times before to DOS and going for switching the meetings to be an hour before Eden Fractal events could be a better way to do it. I don't know if Zal, if that would work out for your schedule. Um, yeah, I'm curious. That's basically the idea. Rather than being at 16, rather than being 18 UTC an hour after Eden Fractal events, we could have the town halls at 16 UTC, which is an hour before Eden Fractal events. Zal, do you have any thoughts on that? Would that work for you, or is that easier or more difficult for your schedule?
Yeah, that probably works for me. I think having it before is better, to be honest with you. Um, just because it's like you can get more people into the actual fractals. So I've been like transitioning into like Zao 101 or Zao governance an hour before our fractals. And I think that definitely helps. So yeah, I'm game for it. I like that idea. And that can make it a little easier for Tadas because probably like how late is it for you right now, Tadas?
It's 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, so I'm fine doing it an hour earlier. I mean, that's noon for me, so closer to lunch anyways, so might be better. And that also gives me like an yeah, no, I think that's good.
Okay, sounds good. I know we asked that to Civil last week, and he said that just Thursdays are difficult. It's also worth noting too that um, daylight savings is coming up fairly soon. So in the United States, it starts on the first Sunday, or rather, daylight savings time ends on the first Sunday in November. So that's about a month and a half from now. So it will be getting later. So I think that that means that if we do make that switch, then for the next month and a half, we would have, or whenever we make that switch, then for Tadas, it'd be the Eden Town Hall would start at 7, and then Eden Fractal would start at 8 and end at 9. So it'd end an hour earlier for him, which is good. But then I think starting sometime in November, I don't know where it is where you are, Tadas. I don't know if it works differently, but it would still go back an hour. So another thing we could consider doing too that we might want to consider doing is moving the time or perhaps even the day if we wanted to, of Eden Fractal. Perhaps moving the day could be helpful to make it easier so people like Civil can join, so it's not on the same day and time as a lot of other events. We've also had Thursdays frequently for, a long time, so it might be best to just keep with our stable schedule. But it's something we can consider though while we're at it. So I think maybe if anybody has any comments on that now, then of course feel free to share. And Tadas, maybe if you want to make a proposal or share like a draft proposal in the chat or something like that, then I know Timothy, he reached out to me like 4 days ago and he asked me like how can he fulfill his role as a delegate. So it seemed like he was really interested in being a great delegate and like fulfilling his role and stuff like that. And I know he just had a really busy week and I also took a while to get back to him. I wasn't able to respond to him today. So I suppose that's probably why he couldn't make it today, but he said he'd like to join and fulfill his role and stuff like that. So I think he'll probably be here for the next time. And so Das, I think people have been trying to elect you as a delegate for the past three events now. And maybe if you want to put out a draft proposal, then you could maybe become a delegate and next time, and then we can change the time to 16 UTC instead of 18 UTC for a future event. Or future events going forward, or we can consider if it's worth making some bigger time change as well. or maybe we make the bigger time change during daylight savings, but that's something worth considering though, Tadas. And I want to make sure that the schedule works out well for you. And I suppose once daylight savings happens, you'll be in the same situation where Eden Fractal happens and ends at 10 p.m. for you, which is pretty late. But then again, Eric is also in California, and so that's pretty early for him. So it's like kind of balancing those two things. So
Well, the hour earlier would work for me. The question is it best for everyone? Like you said, another option is to move it back to Wednesday, for example, or
To be honest
but
with you, for me, like having it on 2 different days would definitely make me miss more.
mm,
Like having them back to back definitely helps because like if I do have something, I can always be like in that as well. Versus like I have two opportunities to potentially miss it if it's on 2 different days. But again, if it's better for everyone else, like let's do it.
you,
so well, were you
uh,
able to load the website or
Yes, actually, thank you. On mobile, it's actually remarkably smooth. It like, yeah, really great actually. Just Safari on iPhone, old versions, fully works. I clicked on Rainbow, immediately got redirected to Rainbow. No wall connect, blah blah. Like it just worked actually. So that's great actually. So thank you and big props for the UX. A lot better than a lot of other dApps. So yeah, thank you. Worked.
yeah?
I think so. I submitted it on chain. Um, yeah, I hope it worked. Let me know if it
That's
didn't.
it. Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
That is like so cool. And like if this with Zaal or something is like accessible with maybe like even the Telegram bot, like this is actually usable, which is insane for in general.
For
So that's
Web3, yeah.
uh, super super dope. Yeah.
nice. Great you like it. Yeah, we've been working hard, and especially Tadas is working hard on these apps for quite a while now. So sorry to hear about the issues with the browser. I don't know what was going on there. But
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
glad it's here,
know.
so it's working so well on mobile, though.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know, Dadas, if you want to, we can at some point troubleshoot it, but I'm almost sure it will take more than 1 minute to troubleshoot it and find the actual issue. Yeah, so probably not now, in my opinion. If you're interested, we can do it another time, but yeah, don't want to take up the time now.
Yeah, and regarding the time change for
Yeah.
you, doing it hour earlier, it would be probably worse or
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I would say don't necessarily make it dependent on me. 12 p.m. Eastern and currently also 1 p.m. Eastern, I'm kind of busy. Like 12 p.m. Eastern has just been the time that the NFTs for social good space has been happening that I've been co-hosting for over 3 years every week. And then yeah, there's two or three other things that I kind of want to attend at the same time. So, and that's 12 p.m. Eastern. And in like Central Europe, we also do the time change. So we're mostly switching the same way as the US. So yeah, but I think like this is a generally for many many people good time. So I would say I would also agree with Zal, like keeping it right behind each other kind of makes sense. And Thursday afternoon, evening is kind of a good time in general. So yeah, for me personally, it's not necessarily the easiest to attend, but I wouldn't like change it because of me necessarily either, to be honest. But yeah, an hour earlier or later, yeah, an hour earlier wouldn't necessarily be better, but I could see it being better for others. So totally, yeah, I join whenever I can, but wouldn't make it dependent on me, I think.
Cool. Thank you, Sybil. Um, yeah, I'm curious actually if you have any perspective. So I definitely agree with the idea of keeping Eden Fractal and Eden Town Hall together, and 1 hour after each other or before each other, because that makes it much easier for me as well. And I think most people probably. Um, and one question, I think you're like the person, I think you're like the perfect person to have here, Sybil, that we can ask you about. If you don't mind if I ask you another question, because you know all like the related events that are going on in like the public goods ecosystem and stuff like that. Do you have any thoughts on if switching it potentially to a different day? Like if we were to switch both Eden Fractal and Eden Town Hall and even Optimism Fractal and Optimism Town Hall, like we probably just keep them both, we'd probably switch everything if we were to do that. If we were to switch it to Friday or Wednesday or it also works out well too when we do it Thursday. One of the reasons is because when we do promotions, we can work on our promotion on Monday, then get out by Tuesday and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why we did it like that. And then Friday, it's like Friday night for Tadas if we do it Friday. So that's one of the reasons why we do it Thursday, and maybe why other people do it Thursday as well. But so I don't know if we should consider changing it too strongly, but I'm curious if you have any thoughts if it would be much easier for you or just much easier in general for, people who are interested in these kinds of public goods events, who want to join Green Pill and Octant and all these different things, but also might want to join Eden Fractal and Optimism Fractal and Town Hall. Do you think that moving it to Friday or Wednesday or Tuesday or Monday or any of the other days would be like much better? Or
So it is the events that I'm aware of in the like online public goodsy general-ish space. Um, are spreading out a little more, which is nice to see. And so Wednesdays and Tuesdays are getting more and more crowded as well with like semi-regular events. So Tuesday, for instance, Fun in the Commons now often do their online events, which aren't like they are not every week, but if and when they do them. So for instance, this week was like the kickoff event for the hackathon and that kind of thing. So this Tuesday was also kind of busy. So Monday would probably be like the least busy, but I know, for instance, Nouns Africa also does their weekly events. Like that is, I think, also 12 p.m. Eastern, which like, yeah, 12 p.m. Eastern is just like a time that semi works for many time zones. Um, if you don't want to do weekend, then I would say Monday and Friday is the least crowded from the events that I'm aware of. Um, and Tuesday and Wednesday is getting a little more crowded, and yeah, Thursday is still the most crowded. Just in that time span between 10 a.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Eastern. In that range, I would say like Monday is the least crowded, Tuesday, Wednesday getting more crowded, and Thursday the most crowded.
okay, thanks for the
Sounding like
overview.
there's nothing on Friday though.
Not much in my well, so Artisan Fund used to do something at 1 p.m. Eastern that I'm not sure if that's still going on or if that's maybe only during the seasons, but they used to do a stream at 1 p.m. Eastern Fridays. At least once a month is a really good call from Regeneration Pollination, just worldwide regeneration movement meetup and like one-on-one networking, really good stuff, not crypto related. Um, yeah, that's about it in terms of what I'm aware of. That's like kind of regular on Friday, perhaps. But I mean, obviously, I'm not aware of everything, but like just what I'm aware of right now. And yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I'd say let's keep it, Dan, for Thursday for at least a couple more weeks, but maybe put up a proposal for people to like say if there is a day that makes more sense so we could have this continuous conversation. But but yeah.
yeah, exactly, because that you definitely want to do that if you're thinking about changing it, right? Because obviously, like the people where it's not fitting for the time that you're speaking about, they cannot speak up when they're not there. So you definitely want to do it like an asynchronous conversation so that the people can chime in who maybe thus far would like to participate but couldn't.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea to put it up poll and see what other people think and what works best for them. There might be many other people who have been struggling with this. Like for example, I sometimes read the greenpill.network Telegram chat, and I see that just last week, Will T put out a message saying, "Are these recorded?" Because to be honest, his Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern are already booked. So I think Will T usually joins these events, but he'd probably like to join the Green Pill events as well if he was able to. And I know several people in the Green Pill community are interested in fractals and respect games. So it'd be cool,
Yeah.
for example, to be able to invite them more and do these collaborations and stuff like that. So maybe we could do it where if we change like our promotional schedule, if we promote it towards the end of the week and then we had it towards the beginning of the week or something like that. These are things that are worth considering, I think, at some point. Or maybe if we
Just
did
to
on
vote.
Friday, if it's not a big deal for people in Europe, if it's not too late. But I don't know. Yeah, basically, I agree with Zal's thought that maybe first we think about moving Eden Town Hall to be an earlier time by an hour because that fixes Sas's most immediate problem, and that won't be too early for people like Eric in California, I think. I think so. And then maybe over the coming weeks or coming months, we can consider if it's worth we could put out a proposal just to see what, or not a proposal, but like a just like a Telegram poll or something like that to see what times work well for people, and think about moving to a different time if works well. Sorry, I kept talking there. Civil, did you want to say something?
All good, all good. Yeah, just a very quick clarification. So, historically, weekly 1 p.m. Eastern Thursdays have been like open Discord community chats in Greenpill Network. Recently, because there's another call happening at the same time where some of the people who were in the Greenpill calls in that has been less consistent. What is quite consistent in terms of Greenpill calls and what is also recorded um, is the monthly calls on Wednesdays, second Wednesday of the month. Those are the Greenpill Network monthly community calls. I think currently the starting time is 10 a.m. Eastern, every second Wednesday of the month. If you so there's a Greenpill Network YouTube where you can see the recordings, which is a separate YouTube channel from Greenpill. The Greenpill podcast is its own YouTube channel, and there's a Greenpill Network YouTube channel with a few recorded meetings like those monthly calls. And yeah, there's also the Greenpill Network Luma. I think if you search for Greenpill Network on Luma, you will also find those. But yeah, just to clarify, real quick, yeah, that's yeah.
Okay,
But yeah,
great. Thank you for the clarification, Civil. Much appreciated. Also, by the way, 5 minutes ago or so, Zal had written, Civil, can you send a list of the events you host or co-host or attend if possible in the Discord at some point? He'd love to share them with his community. I had shared t.me/Civil Monkey, which I think
yeah.
answers his question pretty well. I don't know if you wanted to answer that in more detail.
Yeah, thanks for the yeah, I didn't see that in the chat. I wasn't following the chat. Yeah, thanks for the questions, Al. Very much appreciated. The Telegram is the answer for now. I am thinking of like how to change the interface and what makes sense. Yeah, a lot of questions that I have around that, like how should I draw the scope, like which events should be in it, which not, and like ideally the interface would be where you can click certain organizations in and out, and like yeah, but there, currently I don't have like a proper, really actual calendar. Currently, what I do is just sharing sporadically sharing lists of upcoming events in the next few days, and yeah, I've just been doing that as an experiment, and that where it's already helpful, hopefully somewhat helpful, but it's of course there is use in like having a proper calendar of sorts. So yeah, happy to also have that conversation more. But yeah, currently that's the link exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Civil. I found a lot of value in your Telegram t.me so monkey, and this is something that I've thought about a lot, because there's been many times that we've talked about potentially rescheduling or finding the best time. It's like a pretty key thing for us at these fractal events because these synchronous events are so important, finding a time that works well for people. And so I've used your Civil Notes Telegram group as a resource to understand when the best time to schedule Eden Fractal is and Octant Fractal, as well as to stay up to date and in tune with a lot of these great communities that you're curating and providing an overview. So I appreciate you doing it. Every time I check it out, I tend to see some cool events that look interesting. I would love to attend, or sometimes check it out and end up finding the video or something like that. Regarding formatting, I think that the formatting works pretty well right now. It's sufficient for my causes so far. Although one thing that you said that just made me think about having it like, I suppose, where you can click into what kind of event you want, have it on a calendar. Just one suggestion I have that maybe you want to consider. I don't know if you use the tool or you're interested, but Notion could maybe be pretty useful for this. Notion recently, they recently, like a year ago or 2 years ago, they acquired pretty successful calendar app company. I don't remember what the app was called, but now there's the Notion Calendar app as well as the Notion app, and it works with Notion databases. So if you're familiar with how Notion databases work, you can basically build a database of all of the different events where you have a different, say, a different item for each event, and you can have a different property for a different date and time, and like maybe tags like public goods or Octant or Ethereum or whatever else. And then that database could automatically, like, you could either display it as a calendar database, or you could have it probably in some way like work with Notion Calendar, which works with Google Calendar and Apple Calendar. So I don't know exactly how it would work, but it's just an idea that if you haven't considered it, maybe it might be useful to put it in that kind of like Notion database format, and then maybe you could also have it. I know Notion also released webhooks too recently, so maybe you could have it where it automatically posts stuff in the Telegram group, but maybe that makes it easier to do it automatically. Just throwing out some ideas that maybe might
Yeah,
be
Civil,
helpful.
if you want some help with that, I'd love to support you because I'm working on the Zaal calendar right now, and I just have a very basic Google calendar, but it's a place I've been wanting to put more energy towards. So if we could work collectively on like a good workflow for like, oh, like this community has this new meeting, let's get it like amplified as much as possible in whatever way, shapes, and forms. I think that'd be awesome. So yeah, shoot me. I messaged you. I shot you a DM on Telegram, so it pops up to the top. Let's reconnect and think about the best way to do it. I'd love to help out with that.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that interest, and yeah, super interesting that you're also thinking more about that. And I yeah, would love to hear more as well what your thinking is around like the ZAO calendar, and what's like how are you thinking around like who is it for, what should be in it, what shouldn't be. Um yeah. But yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Love to see the collaborations. And yeah, I know that we actually spoke with, I don't remember her name at the moment, but somebody in the Zao Fractal community or the Zao community was helping out with the Zao calendar, and she was operating the Twitter account for Zao calendar, I
Yeah,
believe.
the person has gotten busy. So
Okay. Yeah.
yes, have someone, but not someone that's active.
Yeah. Yeah, she was really nice. I remember she shared some really enthusiastic thoughts about respect game, board games and stuff like that. And we had some cool conversations. So we have a video back of maybe 10, 20 Eden Fractal events back. So thanks again for inviting her, Zal. And yeah, I know Zal, there's a lot of musicians and creators in the Zal community who are launching their own events or hosting their own events. I remember last time I went to Zaal Fractal, there was like somebody who said that they just launched a new event that was cool, and I know Easy hosts a few events, so I could see how that could be useful for you as well to curate a calendar. I also tried doing that for Optimism events a while back. It's somewhere in the Optimism Fractal Notion. I had like 20 Optimism events. Probably most of them are outdated or changed now, but I tried using Notion at that point. I shared the Notion calendar link for anybody who's interested there. But
I think
yeah, I
that's the
definitely see that being
challenge with
useful.
any like resources in crypto. It's just like outdated instantly in a month, basically. And like same thing with events, right? Like events come on and off so quick. So like it is a challenge. So like the best thing we can do is make the workflow easy to like add and remove things very seamlessly and to like verify that something's still happening. But again, I have a lot of ideas for that. I just haven't had the energy to like put time towards it. So if we put time towards that or like set a time, like I'd love to like, even if it's like me starting to code that out, I would love to like ideate on that because like not only would it help this out, not only would it help the public goods squad, but I know a lot of communities that have lots of like these community events all the time, right?
hmm Yeah, it's really good for fractals too, because as more fractals grow, it'll make it easier for people to get involved with these synchronous events as well. So having this kind of schedule is like particularly helpful for fractal communities, in addition to, all the creators in the ZAO and people following public goods work in different ways in the Civil Monkey chat, but especially for fractals too, because synchronous communication is so helpful. But
Yeah, and
anyway,
like,
oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. No, so it's a whole big topic, but we're also in the town hall time, so I assume there might be an agenda somewhere in somebody's head, maybe.
Yeah, good point, Sybil. That was kind of something I wanted to bring up. So we're 47 minutes into the town hall time out of the 60 minutes allocated, and I forgot to mention it because we kind of just got so focused and one thing led to another. So we only have 13 minutes left on the schedule, and I had said before at the beginning, before you joined, that we didn't really have a formal agenda. I actually made an agenda past two Eden Town Hall events, but both times it wasn't like too formal of agenda. There's still stuff that we want to talk about regarding the Eden Fractal Epoch 2 implementation. Like there's still some stuff that we'd like to improve with the Eden post fractal consensus process, and at some point we want to make a formal intent document for Eden Fractal that really very clearly and simply, succinctly explains what Eden Fractal is to newcomers and specifically how the specifications work for the respect game and their governance processes. We have a Epoch 2 implementation plan where We have a bunch of things that much of which we've achieved because I think, as you know, like maybe 3 months ago, we embarked on Epoch 2 where we kind of like are reinventing Eden Fractal, and we've probably accomplished about half those things, and half of them are like we want to, then half of them are incomplete. So things like implementing the community intent document, we want to implement a community participant agreement um, for contributors. We want to further develop the Eden plus Fractal consensus process. There's other things we want to do too, like improve the Telegram and Fractogram apps and stuff. And then I think there's a couple other things that we wanted to do. I'm also working on setting up a nonprofit as well. So lots of pieces that we could talk about it if we want to. But I don't know. I brought it up a couple of times past few events, and we went into talking about different topics. And so this week I was quite busy, so I didn't put together any sort of official agenda. But those are just some things we could talk about the next 10 minutes if we want, or we could talk about anything else for the next 10 minutes. I could publish this as a town hall and just because either we could publish it as just a big Eden Fractal event, that's what we used to do, or we could publish this hour as a town hall and could just find somewhere to cut it creatively that makes sense, but I don't even know if it would make sense. So I guess I'll just use my judgment on that unless anybody has any thought on that about the best way to publish it. I see Tadas is in agreement there, so yeah, I'll figure it out. Probably publishing as a town hall might be good just to make it easier because there has been this its own kind of unique topics that we've discussed here at what is the time slot for the town hall. So yeah, so I guess that I'll go ahead and do that. And there's no formal agenda here, but we've had an agenda, a great discussion about calendars and timing and so forth. Some of the best topics out there. People love this one. This one's probably gonna get a million views, I bet. Um, but yeah, if anybody else has any other thoughts on the calendar topics, I know Tadas is getting late. Speaking of timing, and Tadas is probably like, oh, so much time going on. So I don't know if Tadas want to head out and get to sleep, or if we have any other thoughts. Maybe Tadas, if you want to take a lead on the proposal for switching the time, maybe if you want to just put out a draft message and see what Timothy thinks or see what we think, and then we can approve that for the next Eden Fractal event. That might be a good like call to action or action that we can do from this meeting so that I guess the next meeting will still be at 18 UTC because we'll still have to do the town hall at that time to approve it. But then the following Eden Fractal event or then following Eden Town Hall event, we can reschedule for 16 UTC instead. If you want to make a proposal there, we can approve it during the next Eden Town Hall. That's my suggestion. But curious to see what you think. I see you have your hands up, so I'll pass it back to Tadas.
Yeah, so you're suggesting to have a hidden town hall at 16 UTC and then a respect game as usual.
Yeah, at 17 UTC.
I do not understand that. I think that's genius. That I was thinking of moving the whole thing an hour back, but now that way, yeah, we people who can come to this time can still come and play respect game, and people who want to participate in the town hall. Although there is an issue with that. Eden plus fractal process, we still need an hour for making decision. I was assuming we would use Eden town hall time for making decision.
Well, my presumption was that we could do that during Eden Town Hall, but just do it an hour earlier. However, that would come up with the problem that people who are newly elected delegates would not be able to vote that week. So that's one
Yeah.
problem with that. You could still have the delegates vote, but yeah, you'd be the past 4 weeks, and so the commitment would then
No,
be
but
not.
it wouldn't be Eden plus fractal process. We would need to change the process. That's the key issue.
We could still call it Eden plus Fractal, but yeah, it'd be a different version of it, I think. Like, basically, we just need to change the thing that says the decisions are made after the event to decisions are made before the event.
Yeah, but a lot of assumptions I made when creating it. Well, some assumptions might change, and we need to arrive at consensus. And that consensus for what process to use, and we already did that, and now we're back. We would be back at that. No, I think we need to. We can the couple making decision. We can decouple Eden plus fractal process from Eden town hall. So we can discuss proposals in Eden town hall, and then maybe try making decisions after respect game. Uh, if we, I think maybe for a lot of this decisions we could just if we discuss it sufficiently when after respect game, maybe it would take uh, not a lot of time to pass proposal, and then we could pass proposal to change it, maybe move decision making to the time before, which I did want to experiment with at some point.
Okay. Yeah, it does add some complexities. So, I mean, I think that we could have it where it goes after the Eden Fractal events. We could so one of my first thoughts that you're saying that was that we could make it so people could pass proposals either during the town hall event or the Eden Fractal event. And then we could just have an extended Eden Fractal event that goes 15 minutes longer if we want something like that. That would wind up being 2 hour and 15 minutes of events rather than 2 hours of events. So that's an option. I don't know if that introduces negative effects or consequences, but it might be useful to do that. But then that would allow basically two different councils can approve a proposal because that would be, or two different sets of councils because it would be the council from the past four events prior to this event, and then it'd also be a council that'd be formed at the Eden Fractal. So that would be the council that could make decisions during the Eden Town Hall, which is before the Eden Fractal Respect game, is the four councils prior to the current Respect game, the current day's Respect game. And then if we had it where you could make decisions at the Respect game or after the Respect game, probably after the Respect game, then that would mean that the three councils that were formed prior, plus the council that was formed on the day of that Respect game, could make
No.
decisions. I think I'm
There is
confusing way tonight.
a lot of considerations there, and that's why we need a consensus process to decide that and to discuss all of these issues and decide.
Yes. Well, yeah. So, I mean, I think we have that consensus process. That's the Eden plus factor consensus process. And that is next, in 2 weeks from now at the Eden Town Hall, we can discuss this between me, Saul, Timothy, who can hopefully join then. And then maybe if Tadas gets elected or whoever else gets elected as a delegate next time, then we can work to make this decision. But yeah, it'd be useful
We still have
though.
it after right now, right?
What's up?
We still currently have it after, right?
Right now, we have the town hall after the Fractal, and that's still on
Yeah.
the schedule for the next event coming up in 2 weeks. The town hall will be at 18 UTC, 1 hour after the respect game starts. Um, and so that's what we'll do for the next time. And then during
Yes.
that meeting, then we'll see if we can make a decision that makes sense. And we'll think about all those considerations. And maybe we can think about those in the coming weeks. And maybe if Tadashi you have a chance to think about any of those things. I'm okay with just doing like what you said too. Maybe I was making it too complex by having it where you could still vote for proposals at the town hall. But maybe that'd be good. Or we could just have it where you could just vote after the Fractal. And maybe we give it a half hour extra or something like that at max, something like that after the respect game, and that could be a simple way to do it.
Or you're right. We just need to change Eden plus fractal process at the same time as we change the meeting, the Eden town hall time. So
Yeah. And we can use the Eden plus factor process to do that. And if we can think of a good solution before the next event, that would be great. Or we can try to brainstorm it mm, at the next event. But yeah, if we want to be as effective as possible, if we can come up with something beforehand, that would be good. And we could also use the transcript from this meeting, give it to AI, and see if it can help us draft out anything. If I get a
yeah,
chance, then I can do that. Or if you want to take the lead on that, Tadas, then that would be appreciated as well.
yeah. Note then that it solves making decisions before respect game solves the problem that we were talking about. Might solve uh, with legislative consensus process where you have to elect a delegate and immediately have him participate in decision making. Here it would take 1 week until the next meeting at least. But there might be more
Oh, do you mean
stuff
the
involved.
discussion we were having at the top of the Eden Perspective implementation plan document, and we were talking about how the having the finality in the app was rather difficult because people get elected right away.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so that could be helpful for that. Yeah, and come to think of it too, I was thinking previously that there might be like the distinction I was trying to make was that if we do have it where delegates vote on proposals an hour before the respect game, then it kind of makes the commitment longer for being a delegate because
Yes.
as opposed to saying, hey, to be a delegate, we ask that you commit to joining the Eden Town Hall event for the next hour, as well as for the next three events, which is going
Yes.
forward 6 more weeks after this. But it's
Yes.
saying, hey, you're a delegate, but your service doesn't really start or matter that much, like the hour afterwards. Maybe it does if we have it where you can still vote after that, but really we want you to be there. We're asking that you commit to being to the next four Eden Town Hall events, which start in 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now. So in that week, it's not asking for today and 6 weeks from now, it's asking for 8 weeks from now.
Yes. That's one of the reasons why uh, that's one of the things I considered when with the initial Eden plus fractal design. One of the reasons I liked it, because you're only asking for next three events, a person to be there for next three events, including this one, which is so easy for him because he's already there.
Yeah, but this would be different though, because this would be asking for
Yes,
four events.
exactly. Yes,
Whoa,
that's the drawback of this
yeah.
new idea.
But it might also be a feature, not a bug, too. Because, for example, like Timothy reached out to me a few days ago and he wanted to help, but he didn't know how it worked that well. And like, it's kind of a lot of pressure for a delegate to jump right into being a delegate, maybe sometimes. And he doesn't know exactly how to be a delegate or what he should do. Maybe, I mean, maybe this is an edge case, but it does give delegates a time to kind of like ease into the role and learn how it works and do some research before they get elected. And yeah, it makes the
But
commitment, I guess, more like 2 months rather than 1.5 months. But I don't know if that's
it
necessarily
should
a bad
be
thing.
it should be an edge case that a new person gets elected. So if you don't know anything about it, maybe they should not get elected. But mm,
I mean,
yeah.
he knew some things, but he just had more questions about it I guess he didn't totally get it from when we explained it, or we didn't go into too much detail.
But yeah, you're right. If a new person comes and becomes a delegate, he gets a chance to observe first, and then next week he participate. Or rather, he would have to observe before the meeting, and then would have a week to prepare, and then yeah,
Another reason why it might be good too is because during the town hall prior to the Eden Fractal event, we could come up with proposals and talk about them and be like, hey, we're thinking of making this proposal to change the time and the date or whatever, or we're thinking of changing, the rules or whatever it is. And then during the Eden Fractal Respect game, after we reach consensus on respect, we'd say, hey, we want to elect a delegate. And rather than just saying, oh, I don't know, like, can you be a delegate for any arbitrary proposals that may happen? We're like, we're specifically talking about this issue just an hour beforehand. What do you think about this? And so that's kind of like a more like close feedback loop where we can talk specifically and ask the prospective delegate candidates if like what they think about this issue, and then people could vote on it based on the issue that they just discussed an hour earlier. So I think that's a pretty good benefit too. I see Zaal wrote he got a rock out, guys. Can't wait for next week. Thanks all for joining. Thanks so much, Zaal, for being here and all the great stuff you're doing for the Fractal ecosystem. Hope you have a fantastic day. And yeah, thanks very much.
yes, yeah, yes, you're right. And also, if person contributes to the discussion, he could get another way to get respected. Yeah, and
That's
yeah, that idea to pass proposals before respect game, I thought a lot about it like a long time ago that I would like to try it. To have what or just discussion before respect game, not the other way around like we have been doing.
mhm. Yeah, just for experiment purposes, that would also provide value too, that we get a new type of data and a new type of experience, and we can compare it with our thing that we've just always done, which is having the talk after the respect game. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. And
Yeah, but it's still a big drawback because with bi-weekly meetings, it's already like it would have been almost 2 months. Now it will be 2 complete months that a delegate has to commit.
Yep. Well, I remember I left a comment in the Notion page in response to one of your comments, and I don't know if that's a drawback. I mean, I remember the original Eden on EOS elections, they were at first a year that people were elected delegate, and then it changed to 6 months, and that had a nice kind of it worked out nicely. Like people took the responsibility more seriously because it wasn't just like a week-long thing. It was like it's like a role that you have for time going forward. Actually, I remember I was actually listening to an interview that Harvesto did with Gouda. So I don't know if you listened to that one, but Gouda was saying that back in Eden on EOS, he kind of liked it. Like one of the things he liked about was getting that responsibility in that role and the title. Like how if he was elected a delegate, then for the next 6 months he'd be a delegate, and that's kind of like something he can kind of like carry with him and feel good about, and like that's something that he has got going on. So I don't know if that's a downside. I mean, it is asking for more of a commitment, but one, we've already been saying 2 months, and so we were just incorrect because basically we were asking for a commitment for 6 weeks, kind of in the future. And so we'd be saying the same thing basically. We'd be saying 2 months, and then yeah, I mean, we want people to join for 2 months rather than just 6 weeks afterwards, and people might appreciate the responsibility in the role more. So I don't know. I can see both sides of the argument that it is asking for more, but I think overall it's probably worth trying it. And I don't see that as like a deal breaker to have it where we're asking for people for 8 weeks rather than 6 weeks.
Right, maybe. Okay, it's late. I have to go.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for the discussion, Tadas. Thanks for the discussion, Civil. I don't know if you have any last comments you want to make, Civil. I think we're just about ready to wrap up. We are over time, so we could wrap up and end it with a go Eden Fractal if you're all ready. Do we have any last comments, or should we wrap it up?
I guess just the delegate, did that on-chain or like what's the process? What's the status? I think we all voted in the Telegram, but I'm not sure if we need to do the on-chain submission now, or I don't see the last message that I see in the Telegram is the vote, is the poll. And so I was expecting that there would be another link to click on for here for submission for it going on chain, but maybe that's not what's happening. I just wanted to mention that in case we need to be all there, in case it's the same process as the respect game.
Yep.
Yeah, currently there is no front end for this new Eden plus Fractal process, but we have been using basically just for coordination. There is a custom signal type of proposal in current front end, and we have been using it to at least have a record of who is elected. But the problem is I currently exceeded all of my votes on ORDAO. So yeah, see the message in Eden Fractal Telegram group general chat. And I also replied to the description on how to make that proposal. So Dan, if you or someone else could make it.
Yes, I will do that. Thank you, Tadas, for sharing that. And thank you also, Civil, for reminding us. I had totally forgotten about posting on chain, but that's a very good point. So elect delegate from group 128, meeting, oh no, group one. Um, one day we'll have 128 groups, but not quite yet. Meeting 128. And then I will put in Zaal's ETH address and Telegram handle into the description field. And then I'm going to put in signal type 2. And then I'm going to put in the data is just 0x blank. And then I'm going to put that on chain. I just have to get Zal's address. And then momentarily after I do that, then you'll see Civil in the proposals tab for the Eden Fractal ORDAO app at eden.fraps.xyz that there will be a proposal to officially elect Zaal as the delegate for this week. And then you can vote on that if you'd like to as well.
Awesome. So you are putting up the proposal, and then people can vote on it, like just us who were in this call. Right?
Um,
No. Or how does it, what's the next step? So you put up the proposal, then the proposal is available.
yeah, so maybe I'll just go just real quick, just share my screen here just to make it easier for you to understand and for anybody who's watching to understand the process as well. So as Sadas said, we don't currently have a front end for this is something that we've been considering about how to build the front end for the Eden post-factor process, but currently we're making it work with the tools we have. So I just went and I looked at what Tadas shared in the Eden Fractal Telegram group, and he shared like kind of like a standard format that he came up with of just putting the title, description, signal type, which is to just to categorize it all properly, and this data thing. So I believe I did this all correct. I just copied Zal's EVM address as well as his Telegram handle there, and then I'm going to hit next, and then I'm going to hit submit. I'm also going to vote yes at the same time because this box is checked because I also, you know, I'm in agreement with that consensus basically. And then I'm going to confirm the transaction. And if all goes well, then momentarily that it'll say success. And then if I wanted to, I could see in the block explorer, but I can go back to the proposals tab here. And you can now see the custom signal proposal where we elected a delegate from group one, meeting 128 with Zal, and it now has this amount of votes, which is the amount of Eden respect that I've earned over the past few years. So, and if anybody else wants to vote on that, then you can, although it is according to ORDAO, it just needs to have over two-thirds of the amount of votes yes by the period. So even if people don't vote for it, then currently it will be approved because I have enough respect for it.
Nice. Two-thirds of the participating votes, or two-thirds of what?
Yes, participating votes.
Okay, so if
As
voted,
long as long as some minimum threshold, which I think is currently to 1,000 respect.
Yeah, and that's defined, I believe, in this app state page where it shows the minimum proposal weight threshold is 1,000 respects. So yeah, Tadas is right. It also has this in seconds, I believe, for the vote period and veto period. If you're interested in learning more about how this works, optimistics.io/ORDAO, and then it specifically links to Tadas had written in the GitHub repository for the OREX smart contract, which I believe is right here. So yeah, this article explains how ORDAO works, and we have some great videos that explain how it works. Like maybe a few months ago, me, Tadas, and Rosemary did an overview video where we showed exactly how this works and why it's designed as it is, and we broke it down simply. And we also have some other videos here that explain it and text and stuff. And then Tadas wrote it very succinctly, like what the actual specification is for the mechanism here for the variables and the mechanism to explain when proposals get approved on chain and executed on chain.
Yeah, if you want to understand the mechanism, just read this document. I shared it also in the Zoom chat.
Yeah. Or in addition, so I definitely recommend reading this, but also this video does it in kind of like a way where we role play the way it works too. So I would recommend both to really understand it deeply because it kind of takes a little while to wrap your head around. But yeah, the document that Sasha shared here, if you scroll down to specification, that provides a very concise specification of exactly how it works. And then the rest of the article provides the motivation, why it's so useful, why this is designed as such, and how it's beneficial. And then the article provides a lot more details about it, as well as this video in particular. We go through like a use case about it to explain it in more detail and really demonstrate it.
nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, perfect. Thank you for sharing. So if I want to see your proposal, is it on Fraps as well?
Yes. So if you go back to eden.fraps.xyz, uh, so yeah, there's also Zaal.fraps.xyz and optimism.fraps.xyz. So each one of
Oh,
those is
right.
for different fractal communities, but this is specifically for the Eden fractal community. So it's at eden.fraps.xyz. And if you go to the proposals tab, then you'll see the proposal that I just made for Zaal to be a delegate, right at the top. And you'll see the other proposals that we made previously below. Make sense? All right. Well, um, I think you had to talk to somebody else there, but hopefully that makes sense. If you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
any,
yeah. So yeah, I'm looking on the website. So from the so I'm now, by the way, it does work on web on Brave. I didn't really change much. I did open the dev tools, but I didn't really change much. So for some reason now I can see stuff, which is great. I could log in. So now I was getting there through the link from the previous submission. How do I get to other proposals?
The proposals tab in the top left.
Yeah, or we can share a
Oh,
link.
yeah. This,
Hmm.
okay, cool. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tadas also just shared a link specifically to this proposal in the chat too.
Okay.
Yeah. And currently, right now, Sybil, I don't believe that you have any respect because I think the first time that you um, joined and earned respect is this one that I just proposed. I just got the chance to propose that today. And so, due to the parameters of the way this works, where as I showed before, there's specific veto period and vote period, so it needs to take about 2 weeks for a proposal to get fully approved and executed on chain.
Yeah.
So this will take 8 days where we can vote for it. Um, and then there'll be another, I think, 8 days, or Tusk can correct me, but yeah, I think 8 days. I think he's actually got this to 16 days or 17 days rather than 14 days. But basically, there'll be another 8 days or so, 9 days, where people can veto it. And then if it still has the yes votes, which I'm pretty certain it will, because it looks like both me and Tadas voted yes for it, then at that point, you will automatically get the 5 respect distributed to your account once this proposal gets executed. And so you can still vote yes or no for these proposals, but right now you have 0 vote weight because you haven't yet earned respect. So
Oh,
you'll
cool.
get,
But it's also the zero weight thing where my vote would still show up. So anybody can still see how I voted, but it just doesn't have weight.
yeah, I believe
Yes,
so.
yes.
Interesting.
And
Cool. Yeah.
it's still good to vote because uh like you basically as a participant of this meeting, you sign on the result, and that's in case there are other some disagreement in the future, it's still helpful as
Yeah,
evidence.
exactly. And so, so the way that you put up the proposal, is there a context info of like who was in this meeting or not really?
Well,
Because
Uh,
there's,
format.
do you want to answer that to us?
I can answer that. So there's no place like where we store in this app who was in this meeting. There is this respect breakout proposal which is result of respect game, from which you can basically, well, most of the time it will be people who have been in a meeting. Sometimes there are more people who have been in a meeting but haven't played the respect game. But yeah,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then with the date, you can see which one, like, yeah, which submission for respect distribution was done on the same day. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so you can see all the accounts here and what we came to consensus on in Telegram. And this will also approve if all goes according to plan. Now it looks like it will in the next 2 weeks. And then um, the thing with the delegate, we just put group one. So if, for example, there was 2 groups or 3 groups or 10 groups or whatever, each group would just put whichever group they were electing a delegate in, which would be like basically their Zoom room number. I know Tadas was trying to go like 20 minutes ago, so maybe it's good if we wrap it up and we say
I
go eat
can
fractal,
you
and
can
then if
you can keep discussing. I can deal.
yeah. Well, how about maybe it's good if we wrap it up and we say go eat fractal, and then if Sybil, you have any other questions about it that you want to ask, then I can also help you out afterwards. I also want to go get lunch too because I've been in front of the computer for a while, but I think maybe it'd be good to wrap it up now for all of us probably. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Sybil, for all your interest in ORDAO. That's awesome, and we appreciate all your questions and your curiosity, and it's really important because Tadas has built something like incredibly valuable, and not many people
Yeah, and
know about it right now.
if you
So
have any feedback, if you really want to look deeper at it and have any feedback about the mechanism and so on, it would be really appreciated. So far, it's mostly people who have been in practice that are using it and understanding it. So it would be interesting to have feedback from wider.
Yeah. Thank you so much, like both for sharing and for also being open to all the question, and especially like yeah, really great to speak with you directly as the one who's like built it and who could also modify like code and stuff. And And of course, like Dan, like yeah, you as someone who's like been just holding and carrying the torch and like doing all these developments and all these yeah, consistent meetings. And so today was really great, honestly, like for me to just like yeah, use it, which yeah, probably should have done that a long time ago. But so yeah, I can like really see how it maybe could integrate into like other communities and stuff. The more that I learn about it and actually use it. So yeah, thank you. This was today was really great. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much, Sybil. Really appreciate your feedback and really appreciate your participation and questions and all the ways you've been contributing it and really glad you enjoyed it so much. Thanks so much for making time in your schedule and hope that you can join another one. There's also ORDAO Fractal, by the way. Tadas occasionally hosts it, so there's a Fractal where specifically about ORDAO, but that's maybe a topic for another day though. And yeah, really feel free to explore all those resources we checked you, and then if you want to reach out with any questions along the way, this goes to both you as well as anybody who's watching too. We love to help you, think about ways that you can that communities can benefit from it. And so we're really excited to see how ORDAC can grow and fractals can grow, and help public goods communities and all that are all around the world. So thanks so much, Civil. Thanks so much to Das as well. Was that?
And basically, ORDAO is the development of all the tech that is in the different fraps, correct?
Not sure I understand.
No. Okay. So maybe how do you describe what ORDAO is?
ORDAO is I define it as a toolset for DAOs which use non-transferable reputation token, like we call respect. But it's mostly experienced as an app currently, so it just has multiple components behind it. So that's why I call it a toolset, because some of the parts you could use independently, like respect token. Yeah.
But essentially, the tech that we were using just now in the Fraps website or DApp, that tech is ORDAO tech.
Or DAO, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, should we do the Go Fractal or Go Eden Fractal?
I think that's a good idea. Are we ready, Tas? Tas is probably gonna
Yes.
go to sleep. All right.
I have been ready for an hour.
All right. Sorry for keeping you up, Tadas. But thanks for your patience, though. Much appreciated. Hope you have great dreams tonight. Thanks everybody for joining Eden Fractal. It's been a great pleasure. We hope to see you at Optimism Fractal next Thursday. I believe it's October 2nd, as well as Eden Fractal and Eden Town Hall on October 9th. It's been a great event, and if you guys would like to join me, 3, 2, 1. Go Eden
Eden
Fractal!
Fractal.
All right, thanks all, and see you next time.
Thank you.